Hi, I'm Chris of Light and Joy Designs, and welcome to the Crochet Magical Mystery Tour once again. This is a year-long crochet along where I present weekly free crochet patterns, monthly giveaways, and more. There's more information at my website, lightandjoydesigns.com, and the links are below. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make the Pom Pom Scrunchie, which is a simple pattern that has two or three really cool uses. One, of course, is you can use it in your hair. Another use is you can use it as a shawl pin, and I'll have a link to that video of how to use it for a shawl pin below. The other use is you can use it for turning a beanie into a pom-pom beanie, or if you have I don't know about you, but sometimes I have one of these fleece cowls and I like to wear them as a hat, and you can turn this into a pom-pom hat with your Pom Pom Scrunchie. Let me show you how to do that. So you just take the top of your cowl and you take your Pom Pom Scrunchie and you just wrap it around. And sometimes you might have to fiddle with it a little bit to get it to look just the way you want it to. But once you get it all done, now you have a hat made out of your cowl. Sometimes you might have a beanie like this one here. This is actually a really cool one. I'll have a link to this. They sell these on Amazon. It's a beanie, but you can also wear it as a cowl. The way that it's sewn, the top twirls up at the top as a hat, and it's reversible. But it's also, you can also wear it as a cowl. It's a really cool item. And if you want to make this into a hat, of course, you just take your Pom Pom Scrunchie and you just get the top of it here. One second here. And just wrap it around, and then you just kind of fluff it, and there you go. So I'm going to show you how to make this Pom Pom Scrunchie, which has these three cool uses. Let's get started. Just wanted to show you one other use. Sometimes you'll have a crochet hat and you might want to add a pom-pom to that. You can do that with this Pom Pom Scrunchie very easily. Or if you made last week's pattern, the reversible Tunisian brioche pattern, which has a pom-pom on the inside and the outside, if for some reason you don't want to put the pom-pom on the inside and the outside, you could make one of these Pom Pom Scrunchies and just attach it to whichever side you happen to be wearing at the time. For these two Pom Pom Scrunchies, I used DK yarn, and for this one I used Ann Geddes, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, from Red Heart. It's number 3 weight yarn, and I made it in the orange color. And this one I made with Patton's Croy Socks yarn. Also a number, actually this is a number 1 weight yarn, so anything under a 3 will work. And for today's demonstration, I'm going to be using Lion Brand's Vanna Glamour in the colorway Platinum. We're going to be using a 5mm crochet hook. You'll need a scrunchie or a hair tie. I like to use the ones by SCUNCCI, and I'll have a link to that below. A scissors, a yarn needle, and I don't think we'll need a measuring tape, but it's always good to have one handy. So let's show you how to make this. So before we start, I want to show you that you can make your pom-poms bigger or smaller depending on two things. One is the weight of your yarn. This is a number 3 weight yarn. This is a number 1 weight yarn. And then the other thing that you'll be able to vary is the number of chains that you do. So both of these use the same number of chains, which is 12. And if you want your pom-pom to be bigger, you can make your chains longer. And if you want it to be fuller, you can make more of the chains. So I'm going to show you that now. And before I start that, if you have a moment to please give this video a thumbs up, I would greatly appreciate it. It helps me to be able to continue to bring you free videos and patterns. Thanks. Okay, so we're going to start with our yarn, our hair tie, and our yarn needle. And the first step is we're going to make a slip knot. And I just discovered a new way that you might like for making slip knots. You lay the yarn over your finger, bring the yarn over to the left, you double it up, and then you take the strand that's in the front, pull it over the strand to the left, and then grab that one there, and you have a slip knot. So if you like that, you can use that. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to feed this through our scrunchie or hair tie, hair elastic. And the reason why I like these ones is they're made out of silicone, and so the benefit is that it's not going to stretch out over time if you're using the regular elastic ones. But nothing lasts forever, so use whichever one you like. Okay, so we're going to start. We have our slip knot on our needle. We've pulled that through the center of the elastic, and now we're just going to chain one, which is we yarn over and pull through the loop on our hook. And we're just going to pull that tight, and we're going to chain 2. And now what we're going to do is we're just going to half double crochet all the way around this circle, and we're going to do it so that we really fill up the circle with a lot of stitches. So to do a half double crochet, and also I'm going to be working in this tail as I go around as well, so that I don't have to sew it in later. So find a grip on the hair scrunchie that's comfortable for you. You're going to yarn over, go into the hair scrunchie, into the center, yarn over, and pull up a loop. And now you'll have 3 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over and pull through all 3 of those loops. And that's 1 half double crochet completed. So let's see that again. Yarn over, go into the hair tie, yarn over, pull up a loop, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. So I'll just show you a little trick. Sometimes when you're doing this and you go to pull through, this center loop, your hook kind of can get stuck on it. So what I always try to do is just kind of duck underneath it and pull through. So sometimes it's not just one fluid motion because of the way the threads are. Sometimes you have to, it's kind of like a 2-part motion, if you will. Yarn over, pull up a loop, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. Sometimes it makes it easier if you can make this little area as small as possible by kind of doubling it up like this as you go around. So yarn over, pull up 3 loops, and yarn over, pull through. All right, so just continue making those all the way around, and as you're going along, scrunch them up because you want this to be super full of them. So here I am seemingly at the end, but we can probably fit even a few more stitches on here by just pulling these down. Now, the more initial stitches you do, the fuller your Pom Pom Scrunchie will be. And if you don't want it to be too full, you would do less. But I'm just going to try and finish this up with as many as I can fit on here. So this will be a nice and full, a nice and full one. Okay, so I think I have enough half double crochets on here. I'm going to join the round with a slip stitch. We're going to go into the second chain. This is 1 and 2. Go into that second chain. And if your yarn is hard to see like mine, don't worry so much about it. This part will never be seen. You yarn over and pull through a loop, and then you pull that loop through the loop on your hook. And now what we're going to do is begin row 2, and row 2 is a series of chain loops around. So I'm just going to show you here on this orange one. We're going to be doing multiple of these chain loops into the initial half double crochets. Now, for both of these, I used a chain of 12 chains. If you want your Pom Pom Scrunchie to be bigger, wider diameter, then you will do a longer chain, and I'm going to do that actually with mine. So if you want to have yours be just like these, you'll use a chain of 12. For mine, I'm going to do a chain of 16 and just see how that comes out. So you can chain any number you want, but I'm going to chain 16. And to chain, you just yarn over and pull through the loop on your hook. So I have my 16 chains here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the stitch that this came out of, and I'm just going to do a slip stitch, which is you yarn over and pull through a loop. To make this easier, I recommend pulling those chains back with your middle finger. It makes it easier to pull that loop through the loop on your hook. Now what we're going to do is do another chain, and yours will be, you just keep doing the same number. So I'm doing 16. If you want yours to be the same size as mine, do 12. And I've got my 16 again, and I'm going to go back into the very same stitch, and I'm going to yarn over, pull through a loop, and I'm going to slip stitch that through the loop that's on my hook. So we just did, if you include the very first place where our initial slip stitch was, we did 3 slip stitches into the same place. On the next stitch, so I'm going to do another 16. And now I'm going to go into the very next stitch. And in this stitch, I'll do a total of 2 slip stitches in there. So this is my first one. I'm going to do another chain of 16. And now I'm going to go into that same stitch a second time. Do another, so you can see where the first stitch went in right there. I'm going to go back in there and do, I'm going to connect this with a slip stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop. Again, pull that back, makes it easier for you to then slip stitch the first loop through the second loop. So we've done 2 in that stitch. Now in the next stitch we're going to do 3 slip stitches, and I kind of experimented with doing 2 2 2 2 2 all around, and I experimented with doing 3 3 3 all around, and one was not enough and the other one was too much loops. So what kind of came out to be the Goldilocks version was you alternate doing 2 3 2 3 2 3 2 3. So in this next stitch we'll do a total of 3 slip stitches in there, and if you lose track you can pull it up close and take a look at how many stitches you have in there, and if you can't tell and you're not sure, just wing it, because just, you know, it's really not going to show. So we've done 2 in this one. This next one we're going to do 3. So we're going to chain 16. We're going to go into this next stitch. This is our first slip stitch into this stitch. I'm going to chain another 16. I'm going to go back into that same stitch. This is going to be my second slip stitch in here. Again, pull that back to make it easier for, whoops. Go back into this same stitch, yarn over, pull through that loop, and then slip stitch it. I'm going to do one more. And now we're going to do our third slip stitch in that same stitch. Go in there one more time. Yarn over, pull up a loop, push this stuff to the back, make it easier, and then yarn over, pull that through. Pull that loop through one on your hook. So now in the next stitch, which is right here, we'll be doing 2 of those slip stitches, and then 3, and then 2, and so on. So go ahead and do that all the way around, and then I'll meet you at the end. So you can see I'm coming around and I'm almost at the end. Just wanted to show you a little trick for figuring out which you're on, whether it's a 2 or a 3. And what you can do is when there's a 3, like this one here, you'll have 2 loops connected to it. So there's 2 loops that join into that one. And then when we come over here to this one, which has just 2 slip stitches in it, we have just 1 loop that connects out of it. So if that helps you at all, and I'll meet you at the end. And also, you know, it doesn't make a big, huge difference if you do 2 3s in a row or 2 2s in a row. By, you know, it doesn't have to be perfect, as long as you're kind of basically doing 2 3 2 3 2 3. Okay, meet you at the end. So here I am at the very last chain of 16, and I'm going to join it with a slip stitch right in here, my last stitch. And you can see it does get quite crowded at the end. And just fold things out of your way as you're doing it. And then I'm just going to pull the yarn through the loop one more time. I'm going to leave a tail and cut the yarn, and then pull that loop through, and we'll sew that in. So I've threaded my yarn needle, and I'm just going to sew in this tail down here into the original half double crochets. Just going to go through in one direction for a few stitches, making sure not to get any of the loops caught in the sewing. It's kind of hard to see. And then I'm just going to go back the other way. So look at where that thread is coming out, and I'm just going to go a few stitches down and go back in the other direction. Making sure I didn't catch any loops. Do that one more time. And then I'll just go back in the first direction for a few stitches also. So I skip over a couple of the threads and go back in this direction. And that should hold our tail in well. And there we got a loop got caught in there. And then I can cut that end. And your Pom Pom Scrunchie is ready to go. And this looks like the 16 chains turned out nice. It's definitely a little bigger than the 12. So I hope that you liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Please be sure to subscribe below and click the notify bell so you get notified of each new video as they come out each week. And also subscribe to the Crochet Magical Mystery Tour at my blog. The link for that is in the description below. Because we have more than just videos, I have giveaways and other things as well. Lastly, I hope that you will share some pictures of yours and how you are using yours. We'd love to see them. So in the comments below, share links to where you have pictures posted, whether that's on Instagram, Ravelry, Facebook, and so on. And you can also, of course, share on Instagram with the hashtag Pom Pom Scrunchie. And you can share on Facebook with the same thing. And I'll have a link to my Light and Joy Designs page and also my crochet group as well. So thanks for joining, and I can't wait to see your version. Take care. Bye-bye.